Okay, Patrick, what I'd like to do is recap everything that we've discussed this far, and I want to give you an opportunity to add anything if that's needed, okay? You've come in for some leg pain specifically uh, that has traveled from the just above the hip, through the glute, down the hamstring, down the calf, into the lateral aspect of the foot. And you notice this starts to happen about 5 to 10 minutes into your walk. And I know that from a activities of daily life, that walking is very key because you walk to and from work. So that's kind of put a little bit of hindrance on this, as well as not being able to be in the gym with your trainer. I know that there's concerns here that you've never had this pain before. I know you've heard the words degeneration and you've associated about surgery. So I want to make sure that uh, you know we're I understand your concerns, but I also want to reassure you that degeneration doesn't always mean surgery. Okay. Um, there's other options that I would like to explore, that I want to talk with you about, that mainly with strengthening and building up endurance throughout that region, the low back, specifically into the gluteal region. And what we really want to do is try to re-educate the body into positions that is beneficial for you, and to help you get through these things that you love, because we want to get you back in, okay? I know that you mentioned you've had small bouts of low back pain before, but you never had anything like this because they've gone away in 2 to 3 days, never traveled down the leg. I know you mentioned about 3 years ago you did get diagnosed with cervical stenosis, but the results with the trainer over the last 6 months have been phenomenal. This further makes me feel confident about what we are going to do and incorporate into your care. I have great confidence that we're going to see really good results from this, okay? And like I said, I want to make sure that you're getting active again as quickly as possible with your trainer, something that you love, and I think it's a great decompressor. Also, I want you to be able to get back to walking to and from work, because again, that's for you and that's your time, okay? Any questions up to this point? Okay, good. So from the assessment perspective, what we gathered, what you've shared, and what the radiographs did show is that we do have stenosis, meaning narrowing in your lumbar lumbar spine, specifically around that L4-S1 region, which can explain the reason why we're seeing the symptoms that we are down that right leg, because those are the nerve roots that then travel into the lateral aspect of the foot, specifically because that is the S1 nerve root. So the further we get down into the lumbar spine, that's where we're seeing a little bit more radicular pain there. Okay, with our physical exam of this, we did find limited ranges of motion throughout the lumbar spine, the low back. You were really, really sensitive to extension. When we put you in that pose that you felt like a cobra, or when we asked you to do a reverse lunge, that really kind of flared things up. But I will say that the other movements that we did see, no pain in, was a really good window for us to get some benefits here. Okay, and I saw some things that could be worked on, that we can improve, we can enhance, that will help everything overall. Okay, so that's your squat pattern, that's your single leg balance, and just overall your posture and how you're standing. We did see some things that we definitely want to address and get to the cause of why we're having this pain, and take it from there. Okay, at this point, can I answer any questions, or would you like to add anything? Okay, good. So first recommendation I wanted to go through is starting a trial of conservative care. Again, want to re-educate and strengthen the lower back region, specifically in the glutes as well. Again, I don't want to steer away from things that you love. You like being active, but what I would like to do is potentially chop them up so they're not as long right now. So we do them in smaller increments, and we take a break, and then we hit it again, and that in turn will build endurance back to what our norm is. Okay. I also want to be mindful of the position that we're doing these in, and really want to talk with your trainer about these biases that I would like to see, if that's okay with you and you agree to our plan, because I want you to have a say in this. And the other thing that I would like to do is do a 7-day food journal to understand everything that you're eating and consuming, because this was potentially have some opportunities for us to modify and kind of introduce some anti-inflammatory strategies to just help the pain overall as we get through strengthening and building endurance in your low back. Okay. Any questions, or how does this sound? Did you want to add anything here? Okay, great. So what I'm going to do next, I'm also going to show you our exercises that I want you to do, and that's what we're going to do today, okay, because we are virtual. Again, I want to talk to your trainer, and I want you to be as active as possible with him. You know, the bias here that we want you to do with your low back is we want you to stay in a neutral to a flexed position. Reason being is that we don't want to flare up the extension like when you're in cobra pose, or have any hyperextension in the low back, because that's going to bother you, okay? In turn, this is going to help our posture overall. This is going to create our strength so we can get things improved globally, okay? So that's the objective of this. That's the objective of what we do, is to educate you, to reassure you that you have control of this and you know what you'll be able to do. If for some reason it bothers you, you don't have to, you know, dial me up real fast. You have some tools that you can utilize to you know, calm the symptoms down, and we can go from there. Okay, so I'll show you those next.
Okay, Patrick, our first exercise is going to be what's called McGill curl up. Okay, this is another flexion based or biased exercise that's going to help us with the low back stability and utilizing and engaging the core and bracing. So what I want you to do is I want you to be on your back. I want you to bring one leg up to flexion at the hip and the knee, so then the foot is flat on the floor, okay? Whatever leg is up, I want you to take that opposite hand and I want you to put it just below your low back, okay? I don't want you to arch your back here. I want to make sure that that low back is fully in contact with the ground. So from here, we're simply going to curl up. I want you to make sure that you're very cognizant about not trying to shoot out your chin like this or to tuck here. What we're doing is curling up, holding it for about 2 to 3 seconds and coming back down. We're getting the shoulders off the ground, so I'll do it again here. And then back down. Up, back down. We're going to do this 6 to 8 times. We're going to see how we feel. If you have any pain at all, we're going to stop and we're going to reevaluate. But I want this to progress here and get us to about an 80% exhaustion rate. Okay, Patrick, so our next exercise is what we call dead bug. Want you on your back on the floor. Want your hips and knees to be 90 degrees, so we're going to be here. What I want you to make sure is that we have good contact throughout the low back. Every ounce of it is touching the floor, okay? We're going to have our arms extended up towards the ceiling, and what we're doing from here is we're going to be using one arm to go over our head, and whatever arm is going up over our head, our opposite leg is extending out, okay? We're doing that on an inhale. So as we breathe in, exhale, come back to neutral, and then we'll switch arm and leg. Again, want to make sure that we're creating contact here. We want to create tension. Remember our diaphragmatic breathing, circumferential pressure, bracing through there as we go through these full motions. What we're going to do is we're going to do 5 on each side. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll fire it back up again, and we'll get you to about 80% exhaustion rate.